So good evening, welcome to the Donny Chaingang, and you're here in the studio with me, Emma Payne, and we are bringing you Women's Wednesday yet again. We have got so many of these on, I've lost count of how many and where they are until I look at the screen. And fortunately, we've got some really big screens. You can't see them because the camera's actually hidden behind at least one of, if not two, maybe three of the screens here. Plus, we've got more in the background, as you can see, running everything and making sure everything's going okay. And I can tell from looking at the screens that we are in Richmond, and we are going to be heading out around the what used to be called Preferred Flats, which is a really rubbish name that Zwift fortunately changed to a much more user-friendly name, which is Fan Flats. And the Fan Flats are literally what they called, the Fan Flats, where all the fans were. It's got some great coffee houses, great bars. Not that Russ will ever tell us anything about those, because what stays on tour, what goes on tour stays on tour and all that sort of rubbish. However, one rider who's going to give us all of the gossip from down in Richmond tonight is going to be our Yellow Beacon, and we are led yet again by Emma Payne. Now, Emma was busy racing last night, so I hope she says some later. We'll ask her that in a moment or two, but I know that she's really looking forward to this. We've got some great riders joining, and I'm just watching them ticking on. I think we're going to hit just around about that 100 mark. And a quick reminder, if you're watching live, if you're riding at the same time, we, like you, can only see 100 riders at a time. We'll try and show absolutely everybody from front to back, and everybody in the middle doesn't always work, as you know. And of course, with it being a very fast stage, this could be potentially one of the fastest Donny Chaingangs we've ever run tonight. And the same again tomorrow, where we're back on the same course for the open event. We are likely to see two of our very fastest rides, and that does make it a little bit more difficult for me to jump in between everybody, but I'm going to do my best for you here on the Downhill Cycling YouTube channel. Now, I've got to say a massive thank you to everybody who has joined the DCG gang, whether you are running the open events, the women's only events, any of our specials, then thank you so much. We have got people still joining the yearly as well. Got to say a big thank you to them, and joining on a monthly basis, because they are the guys who keep the show on the road. Quite literally, this show that you're watching right now and out on Virtual World actually literally keep us and the wheels rolling all the way around Zwift, and so on. Russ and myself busy behind the scenes, and of course Emma Payne, who is our leader in this event, hopefully sat and ready to go on the bike at the moment, but we'll soon find out. Let's see if we can get hold of our beacon, our yellow beacon, and that is Emma Payne. Emma, are you there?
Good evening, Matt. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, and you can hear me. That's always a good start.
Excellent. Something's working this evening.
So by something, I take it maybe your legs are suffering a little bit after racing last night.
Well, you could say the first 2 or 3 minutes of spinning them out was definitely spinning them out.
Was it a spin like a washing machine with a pair of shoes in and all lumpy, or was it more like you'd put in all the muddy cyclocross kit and it was just gritty as hell?
Yeah, well, they don't feel as heavy as they did. Let's put it that way.
Shall we change the subject rapidly from how bad your legs are feeling to how good you're feeling about all of our riders coming out on course and what should be one of the fastest chain gangs we've ever done?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to tonight. I think the Fan Flats is a really good choice. We've got a great group of around 100 riders again. And once we've rolled off the line, the lead into the green banner will have to be nice and steady to make sure we've got the group together. And then we've got a fantastic opportunity tonight to actually really clearly set the pace per lap that should give us a fantastic ramp up to when the go happens.
And of course, like all of our rides, the aim is to get the whole pack off from the start together. And we do get one or two riders occasionally left in the pens, not just the commentary avatar, which sits there all the way through the ride, but one or two riders. So it is really important, isn't it, that people don't jump from the gun. You don't have to be sprinting out of the line. It is about getting the group together first and then start to pick up the pace.
Yeah, this is definitely not a Zwift race. We don't want to see those, 5.5 to 8.5, 9 watts a kilo off the line where you go into the red straight away. This is a nice roll off the line, under 2 watts a kilo, to try and make sure that we've got everybody with us out of the gun.
Right, okay, so that's the instructions, and as time is ticking away, I know you're going to get busy telling people what's the score is. Now, only you know when you are going to be sending the riders off, because, of course, once the go happens, then everybody can set their own pace, can't they?
They can do indeed, and I think the front end of this tonight is going to be really, really busy. You know, there's some great riders in here who we've seen on other courses do some amazing times, but this is going to be flat, and I think that group is going to go right the way through to the line together. So that last sprint coming in for that that finishing banner is going to be a really heated one.
And that is going to be...
I wish I wasn't in the race and I was watching it.
Well, indeed, fortunately, of course, it is possible to watch live and be riding at the same time on the Downey Cycling YouTube channel. And, of course, all made possible by the guys who, like you, are members of the DCG gang. So we're going to let you join the rest of the riders. Emma, good luck. We may call on you later, depending on how high your heart rate is, because that's one of the big advantages we have. We can see just how hard you're working.
Thank you. See you later, Matt.
So great to hear from Emma there, who is busy warming up. We're just about 2.5 minutes to go, so we're going to let Emma get everybody back in together and start with those instructions. Let's head into the map, show you where we're heading tonight here in Richmond. It is the home of the 2015 World Championships, and we use part of that course tonight. Now, this is the first time we've been on this course, and that does mean that there is a little degree of uncertainty of the exact distance to the start of the course proper, and that's what we call the lead-in. Now, we think it's 2.4 kilometres, and everything is based from this point onwards on those 2.4 kilometres being correct. So bear in mind, if those are out slightly, that's going to get really interesting indeed. So 2.4k, that takes you into the red and round to the green square that you see on your screen. We're going around in an anti-clockwise direction, and we run down effectively towards the bottom of the course, but it is not a big climbing course. We have got 7 laps at 5 kilometers a go. That's 35k, which should take us to 37.4 finishing distance, and then a warm down of 2.6k. And again, we use a fixed point on the course rather than the blue banner, which traditionally a lot of races use, simply because it gives us a much better indication of where the riders are, how well they're going. Now, when we say this course is flat, let's jump from our Zwift Hacks map and jump across to the Velo Viewer profile. Now, the Velo Viewer profile is something that everybody can get hold of. This is really easy to get. All you do, go on to veloviewer.com, and on there, plug in your Strava details. That then will give you all of the details, all the courses. You don't need to plug it in if you don't want your own personal details up there, if you don't want to see what you've been riding, where you've been riding, how many meters you've climbed, etc. However, this graphic is available for everybody, and our members of the DCG gang get this sent to them with the link to go straight to it, as well as, of course, all of the links for the events. Now, as you can see, we've stretched this height as much as we could. There's no red in there, there's no yellow in there, there's no maroon in there. In fact, it's basically all green because there are minimalistic gradient changes. 13 meters per lap, so basically we're coming down from the top from the northwest corner, and we go drop down, we do the right hand turn, keeping on going down with slight rises until we go down to the lowest point of the course. It's then a long drag all the way back up to the turn, and then we come round the turn with a slight downhill through the sprint line. That is 13 meters of climbing, next to nothing in terms of Zwift, and that is going to give us 91 meters in total. Now, if you take that, and we'll just drop back into the map, you can see as you translate that round where that is on the course. We're going to roll our way off from the start line, and our riders now up and riding. Our yellow beacon is Emma Payne, and Mary O'Shea is our rider who has the wonderful job of heading up the red bus, and that is the... generally the party bus at the back on all of the Donny Chaingang. So our riders look like they're up and riding. I can just hear our audio coming in, which means that we can head to the live. So in we go, and we are just going to drop in, I think, with Emma. Here we go. So we're just riding in with our yellow beacon, and just as we drop in with the yellow beacon, let's just run through the screen that you're seeing at the moment. So up in the top left hand corner you'll see Emma's watts, 123, 125 watts. That's just up by the 40k marker. And then if you go across from the blue box, which contains heart rate, revs and watts, you go straight across, you've got 30 kilometers an hour current speed, distance traveled 0.2 k, 0.3k, and then 39.40 seconds at the moment. The map on the top right hand side, well, we will be using this to show you a variety of different items. So at the moment we're on the 3D, we can go to our zoomed in and our zoomed out, and this shows us where everybody is. And it looks to me like there is one rider just a little distance behind our beacon at the moment, and we're going to be just double checking that they're not too far behind, as Emma just rolling in and around, just keeping it nicely under 2 watts per kilo. And it looks like Jarvis and Collier at the moment are the riders just a little bit further back. Now what we can see there on the right hand side of your screen, you'll see where the red beacon is. So if we jump in with our red beacon, this is our red beacon, this is O'Shea, currently doing 90 watts. We'll just drop back to Jarvis and to Collier. Now these two are our riders just at the back of the course, and we are going to just give have a little bit of a check and just make sure that we can see what they're up to. And it looks to me like these are our 2 riders that are just chasing behind at the moment. So our riders up and riding, looking good at the moment, and just making the way up, trying to chase on. It's currently 9 seconds to our red beacon, and there's always somebody to jump in a group with. So at the moment, Jarvis just in this group at the back, and let's take a little bit of a dive in and see if we can get a good look in with our beacon. Just having a little bit of fun, obviously, with the zoom controls, which makes it a little bit interesting. So we will be looking at them head on. In the pink and blue, that is Collier. In the orange, that is going to be a Jarvis. So let's bring up those riders in a little bit more detail for you live here on the Downing Cycling YouTube channel for the Donny Chaingang with me, Matt Payne. So just in with our riders at the moment, and as you can see, we're just keeping an eye on just how they're going. It looks to me like they are pushing a little bit. It's a little bit stretched out at the front. Let's jump in with Emma, who is just in with the group. This is a yellow beacon, and remember, of course, the aim here is to stay with our yellow beacon, who is just up the road here. So as you can see, just in front of Emma, things are a little bit stretched out at the moment. That's going to make life a little bit difficult if it speeds up too fast too soon. And just watching these riders, let's get up in the sky and take a little look with the helicopters. As you can see at the moment, the yellow beacon just sitting at the back of the bunch, but nobody going off the front, although it is stretched out. It is not looking too bad at the moment, and those riders in front of Emma just looking to hold it together. It's soon going to speed up and get faster. It's one big group at the moment, with the red beacon just dropping back at the moment. So let's drop in to the back, off the back from Miss Cookie, and head towards O'Shea. Now O'Shea is going to see Collier come in, so this is where our riders are coming on, and you can see at the moment it is O'Shea, the red beacon here, who is trying to just give a little bit of assistance, as you can see Collier and Jarvis are just getting in touch. So just spinning into the riders, and O'Shea it is, who is just driving this chain onwards at the moment, and looks like they're about to make touch. You can just hear, if we drop down onto the cobbles, it's incredibly noisy on there. A lot of our riders will have the have the turbo set so that they can actually feel the vibration coming through, and these are our chasers at the moment. They're trying to make their way up into the group, and this could well be one big blob very quickly indeed. When they get in touch, they're just trying to chase into Smith's wheel, and as you can see, they're just all starting to come back together again. Remember, we are going to be able to show you 100 riders at a time, and we have definitely got just under 100 out on the screen at the moment. And our riders now going to head down now as they keep on going forward. They're going to come in. There's going to be 7 laps to go as they hit that green banner on the left hand side of the road, coming the opposite direction. These are riders at the moment working their way through. We're just watching Smith, who is the rider just in at the back of the pack. So let's focus on a few more of our riders. So just in with Lisa now, and let's jump up above Lisa, who is going to be dead centre in this screen here. So Lisa just riding well in this group at the moment, and we can just see Lisa just working her way down the side of the pack, just level with our yellow beacon there. Looks like Joe Jarvis riding well as well. So just keeping an eye on Jarvis at the moment, and just seeing her moving away through the group. Certainly looking like these riders are pretty much holding it all together. And every time we come on to those cobbles, you can hear the pace picking up, and it is certainly tough stuff. Let's see if we can focus on some more of our riders who are out there. Looks like Maxine Philby in this group. Max riding it for the Data Links Paresis team. And the guys are making the way up and round now. They're going to be on the run in towards the gantry. So just following Alison Kinlock at the moment. So Kinlock just in the purple top there with the deep wheels on, and Kinlock just riding nice and smoothly here, ticking along 151 watts at the moment. So under the gantry we go, so that means there are 7 laps now to go for our riders as they come through here. And as you can see, these guys are working well at the moment. And this group, this pack, moving very quickly indeed. And the riders at the moment, not too strung out if we take a little bit of a look out. Nobody in view miles behind. And this group is holding together well. I think the riders near the back seem to be keeping in touch. No major gaps opening up at the moment, which is good to see. Just trying to work our way back through the pack, and it looks to me like the back of the pack is basically across the road, so plenty of capacity in there at the moment. And Emma, our beacon, will be keeping an eye on these riders that go in and through round the turn here. All these riders looking pretty comfy with the pace. Emma Collier at the moment just sitting in at the back here, just riding in with Emma. So I think we're going to see them try and get a full lap with everybody, just in with our beacon at the moment, and that is with O'Shea. O'Shea riding smoothly here, keeping those pedals turning, 76 revs per minute, and looking super smooth on the group. Just riding on the wheel of Glyn here. Let's take a little bit of a look at Glyn. Glyn in the blue in the centre there, riding nice and smooth. Again, 71 revs per minute. Collier, well, Collier just in that pink and blue kit. Take a look. Collier's pretty smooth there, 74 revs per minute, and plenty of these riders looking comfortable at the moment. Briggs is in here. This is the Ginger Ninja herself, Sarah Briggs, riding, and just sitting in that group now. Just seeing one rider just being dropped off the back, and it looks like that could well be Gabby Duckworth, who had a slight issue. And I think Gabby's going to be trying to push on to the group. Come on, Gabby, time to give it a bit of a kick here. So it looks like one of our riders just getting dropped off a little bit early here, but Gabby now pushing on, doing 40k an hour, just pushing nearly 300 watts on the way through now. Can she make her way up in touch with the riders? This is Duckworth, who's trying to push on. She's got 12-second gap to make up. And for the 200 watts doing 40k an hour, it's going to be struggling to get up into that pack, I think. We just take a little bit of a look at this group from up in the air, and as you can see, it looks like O'Shea may well be just easing off the pedals a little bit here, trying to drop back to Gabby. Just be aware, because, of course, if O'Shea drops back too fast, she could well find that Duckworth is coming at some pace at 3.4 watts per kilo, but it shows you the speed of this pack. It always pays in Zwift to ride in the wheels. Once those wheels go, it's so hard to get back in. Look at this. This is the women's Chaingang here on the Donny Chaingang Women's Wednesdays, and our riders are looking pretty comfortable as they push on here, and we're just keeping an eye just behind O'Shea here, and just got to be careful we don't drop too far back, because we could well find that the riders are going to push on now. Duckworth is pushing here. Looks like she's dropped out. The best thing to do if you do get a power drop out, it's really easy. Leave the group, rejoin. You've got about 15 minutes for the first early dropouts to take effect. And O'Shea now is seeing that Duckworth has got an issue. He's down at 0 watts per kilo, so O'Shea now needs to push hard to get back in. And this is why it is always great fun being the red beacon. You've got to use your judgment. You've got to watch out what everybody's doing. And you can see here O'Shea putting in a great move to get herself right up in touch. So O'Shea pushing on once again now, needs to get onto that group 2 seconds off the back wheel. We take the left hand turn. This is the low point of the course. It's uphill from here all the way to the finish, one straight line, and as you can see, now O'Shea at the moment trying to chase onto the back. Looks like Caroline Mansfield, who's going to be our red beacon. Caroline, of course, the CEO of Pretty Gritty, one of our key supporters in February with a great giveaway. And of course, if you're a member of the DCG gang, don't forget that the Pretty Gritty discount code runs out at the end of February. So if you have not bought your stuff by the end of February, that discount code will expire. So guys, make sure you use it. If you're not a member of the DCG gang, why not? It's how we keep the show on the road. It's how we keep the wheels turning on Zwift, and how we keep on bringing you the women's only Wednesdays, as well as all the rest of the rides. And your donations basically keep everything together and hopefully moving smoothly. Let's have a little bit of a run through this group, and let's just see who else is in the gang here. Looks like Joe Tinley is in here. Now, Joe, a regular rider on the Chaingang. Let's see if we get a little look at Joe in the green there. Joe, not the rider who favours being on the turbo trainer, that is for sure, but Tinley, of course, one of our very fast sprinters, and cannot be discounted if it's a sprint at the end, which it is likely to be as we make our way in and through. Good to see Joe Britson is in here. Joe is going to be in here, and looking like Joe is sitting pretty comfortable and smooth at the moment. Now let's take a little bit of a run back through this pack, because just seeing one or two people maybe just starting to struggle with the pace. Remember, we've not completed one lap yet, one full lap of the circuit. We're just working our way towards the back. Let's have a little bit of a look, and it looks like Collier, Baker and O'Shea at the moment are just having to do a little bit of work, and I think they're going to be working together. You can see they're having to put out some serious sort of watts at the moment to try and push back in to the back of the group, so the pace doesn't need to pick it up too much at the moment. Looks like Sarah Lomas just easy enough, but our red beacon just starting to form a group, starting to have a cohesive little number of riders in there. Collier at the moment doing the shepherding job, because we have a sweep on all of these riders. Emma Collier sweeping at the moment very effectively indeed, and as you can see, this small group who are just off the back at the moment, just feeling the pressure. Looks to me like it is going to be Baker, so Beth Baker just in this group here. Beth, let's jump in with Beth at the moment. So Beth Baker on the blue frame, just making her way up, and you can just see some really nice teamwork here from Collier, who is really doing some smooth pacing here to bring our riders back in to the fold. If we get up above, you can see just how close, and Collier just pushing on. You see the difference it makes here being behind a rider. Baker at the moment, 1.3 watts per kilo, sitting at about pushing up to 2.3. As Connie goes to 2.7, and it is about 0.4 of a difference at the moment for one rider. Looks like O'Shea just giving a hand now. With 3 riders together, it will make a massive difference. 4 riders together is even better. If we take a look back from our last ride, it looks like 1 or 2 riders at the back there. Looks like Lomas just holding fire just to try and give these guys a target to aim at as they come up and through. We know Lomas, of course, has been right up there on the open Chaingang, taking top spot, the first woman over the top of the climb before now. And looks to me like the gap is opening behind at about 8 seconds, so not quite holding the red beacon for 1 full lap. We're now into those 200 meters. Meanwhile, this is the Glasses, this is the Oakley's view. Don't forget, of course, 1080, one of our key supporters who are looking after our riders on the DCG gang, and of course helping Adi Dent, Adi, who is going to be out and supporting, as well as donating some Oakleys to AD to auction off for the mental health charity. And don't forget, of course, AD Dent is going to be kicking off his 4 days of Land's End to John O'Groats. He's doing it in virtual reality land on Zwift rather than in real life, and he's replicating his ride that he did in real life, and that means that he is going to be out and riding those same 4 days. And that is going to be tough stuff, that is for sure. So 4 days and plenty of riding. As you can see at the moment, these riders are working well together, and this group at the moment are pushing into the back of the yellow beacon group. You can just see we've moved up a little bit here, and this is the pack at the moment. So I think Emma's going to go through the riders, hopefully keeping an eye on their screens. Looks like Julie Leodis just a little bit further, as Payne is going to make her way up towards the front, just starting to knock the pace off, I suspect, but we'll see. We've got to remember the guys are here, and I think there's a good group at the back. The idea, obviously, of that red beacon is to ride as one group, and you can see as they're making the way in and through here. It is looking good, and nice group here. So Beth Baker with some really good company here. Emma Collier, of course, a rider who's top flight nationals rider. O'Shea, our beacon, a regular on the Chaingang as well. It's about 17 seconds to that group in front now. Looks like Sarah Lomas just sitting on the back of the group here. Lomas is slow by name and fast by nature. The only thing, in fact, she's slow at is getting the bike fixed when it fails round or on top of a moor. I'll let you ask her to tell you that story. Just let's say she was wrong. So Slomas pushing on to the back of this group at the back, and you can just see it is well strung out as these riders come in and through at the moment. So looks like the boss, somebody's poked the boss, and the boss now wondering why she's seeing fours up at the front of the group. That's certainly the sort of numbers that you wouldn't want to be seeing up near the front of the pack when it's supposed to be doing 2s and 3s. Don't forget, of course, we have eyes everywhere, and we have big brothers watching you, and big sister in this case watching you, and it means that we know exactly what's going on, because we can record the entire ride, and we can record any rider in there we choose. So if you're Joe Blogs on the front, or in this case Joanne Blogs on the front, and you've decided that you're going to do your own thing and push silly numbers, do you know what? You're going to be found out. Not only that, you're going to look very stupid in front of everybody else. So please, guys, remember, keep it held steady. The rider who determines the pace at the front is going to be our yellow beacon, and it's our beacon who is in charge of the ride. The yellow beacon sets the pace, and that's why we get so many PBs time and time again, because we use experienced riders like Russ Downing on the men's, and the riders in the Women's are shepherded by Emma. Emma, of course, a national level competition rider, as well as experienced Swift racer, riding for the AEO team and in competition last night. Experienced Swifter from 2015, and of course a rider who we know is going to be regularly coaching, making sure that the riders who are out and around the region, in fact, taking riders out to the Europeans before now as a coach, and certainly a rider who knows exactly how to get the best out of a bunch. So our riders are making the way through, and it's looking pretty smooth out there at the moment as these riders make the way around Richmond, this top part of the circuit. So looks like everybody are riding well in here. Look, good to see. I think this is going to be Rebecca Pratt in the group. Let's have a little bit of a look, so we can just focus in on Rebecca as it comes past. Rebecca, one of our riders who we've seen out and riding on the mountain bike fairly regularly. Good to see Rebecca in action here. It looks like a little bit further back. Looks like Glyn has got company here, and Glyn's got Cartwright for company. They're a little bit ahead of the two chasers behind. That is Collier and Baker. And Collier and Beth Baker are together at the moment. Our Red Beacon looks like we've got tech issues for the Red Beacon. Never good news when the Beacon gets issues, and may well be able to rejoin. That's one of the reasons that we keep that late join in there. And looks like this could become a group of 4 very, very quickly. So de facto at the moment it's going to be Collier who's going to be our Red Beacon at the moment. So Emma, good stuff, well done. And looks like you've just inherited the Red Beacon. 24 seconds in front is Cartwright and Glyn. Then it's 47 seconds to the back of the bunch at the moment. This is on the run down towards the U-turn. Just watching Knowles at the moment. Knowles are moving up through the group, just sitting on the end here. So I need the group to regroup, and just seeing Caroline in this group at the moment. So Caroline Mansfield in the orange, alongside Eve Roberts. Roberts, another of our regular riders, and somebody who's improving with every ride as well. Looks like Manning in here. Anna from Velo Viewer is in the group now. Anna is definitely a rider to keep an eye on. And Anna is definitely one of those riders who we know can be in at the finish. Of course, with all of the great Velo Viewer graphics, should be right up to date with the knowledge. So well, Gilbert in this group. Gilbert continuing to push on. Remember, the aim is not to split the group, for it to hold together as one big group, one blob. If you're pushing on at the front at the moment, you're too early. Last thing you want is a premature push towards the finish, because you're just going to look like a muppet. There we are. I've said that word. It happened. So the group's always faster as one big group, and it's a key skill in racing. On Zwift. And looks like Lala Lawson in this group, and she knows the score for sure. Lawson, of course, the aim is to pull everybody together. If anybody is worried that the yellow and red is too far away, the yellow is in the middle of the group. If you can't see the yellow on your map, it means that you are so far away from the yellow beacon that you've either gone off the front or you've gone off the back. Lawson will be able to see our beacon, no problems at all, because there we are. The group is all together. Just seeing this group nicely holding together as the blobbers come around the turn. Now, looks like O'Shea, our red beacon, has dropped back into the fold here and got back in the group. So let's just take a little bit of a run back. We're going to try and get right the way back to our beacon. So dropping into the red beacon now. The red beacon has jumped back in again. So O'Shea having a few tech issues, and O'Shea has a group of 2 behind, 23 seconds, one at 54 seconds. But O'Shea getting issues, and you know what we said about getting personal records by staying as a group. Lisa in here getting a new personal record as well. In fact, it is absolutely snowing PRs, and look at all the thumbs coming down as well. Great to see so many of our riders putting in making great times here. This is how it works. You will go faster in the group, and it looks like we have one of my favourite riders in here. It's Grace Garner. Garner's one of the great families of cycling, and Grace Garner, of course, an absolutely class cross rider as well as road rider, and a rider to watch out for in the sprints, that is for sure. Grace just in that camo kit. If we jump up above Grace, she'll be the rider that's centred on the screen and not going anywhere, so you just see the kit in there. So Grace Garner is indeed in the group, sitting in the green camo, not all that far in fact from our yellow beacon. So our yellow beacon calling the shots and hopefully calling the numbers out for our riders of where they need to be. This group just starting to stretch once again. So Grace Garner indeed rode for the MTB in the East Midlands team. I think that I suspect, if my memory serves me correct, that would be in the inter-regionals, but it may well have been in the Europeans as well. The East Midlands sending a team over there. We're just dropping back a little bit here to Glyn, because Glyn has company here. So this is the duo of Glyn and Cartwright. Now 37 seconds clear of Collier and Baker. Looks like Shea at 19 seconds. Let's take a little bit of a look back here. And Shea just in no man's land at the moment, and I think just ticking along, waiting for the group behind to catch up. In front, I think it is going to be the one and only Lily Swan in this group now. Swan is a very fast rider, somebody you have got to watch out for. We know just how fast she is, because if you've watched the riding competitions on Zwift, you'll have seen that she is quick. Now this is when the pace is going to pick up. We expect to see trouble at the back of the pack, but this is one rider who we don't think will be in trouble. It's now going to pick up at 3 watts per kilo. Swan knows to sit in here, and this is where you cannot let the gaps go. If you let a wheel go, you will be in trouble. I will guarantee it. You cannot afford for any of the gaps to open. Now the riders in the danger zone are these riders sat at the back here. You can just see at the moment, I think Eva Roberts is literally the rider on the back of this group of 3, and that's going to be Hall, Bale and Roberts are going to be in trouble if they're not careful. They need to close this down. So Roberts now pushing on. You can just see Roberts has seen the danger. You've got to stay in the wheels. If the gap goes, you will be distanced, and look at the effort she's made. She's put out 3.9 watts per kilo here, but Roberts just struggling to get into the wheels after that 3.9 effort. The gap is opening. It's quite simply because that is the pace of the pack. Never ever ever let the wheel go. You see a rider in front of you letting it go, you've got to jump on, and looks like Lisa is in the danger zone here. Lisa needs to pick this up. If you have not seen her blog post, if you've not been on her website, make sure you do so. It is one hell of an inspirational story, and Lisa, it is great to have you on the ride and enjoying yourself in with this group, and that is what the Chaingang is all about. Our riders getting out and enjoying themselves in the group. Now we're going to take a little bit of a look at the back here and see. It looks to me like Swan at the moment just being distances, and I suspect Swan's legs are paying the price of racing yesterday. So Lily has turned the pressure off here, going to find a group to ride with, and this is what happens on the Open Chaingang as well. Our riders who are top flight riders will go back and help behind. They'll go have a day off from being on the front and go sit in with the red beacon, the party bus at the back, in with those groups that are picking up from the back. And it looks to me like Swan just letting those legs go, just going in with the group. We just take a look now. So it looks like Hall is in there. They've got Roberts and Bale not all that far behind, and Swan is a very experienced rider. She'll know to see if she can pull a rider back and forward. So it looks like Swan may be not resting those legs, and actually look at the pace now being picked up by Swan here, pushing on. This is the view from Swan looking forward. This is the view looking backwards. You can see those riders being distance. Hall trying to stay on the wheels here. Swan pushing on, 143 beats a minute, 330 watts at the moment. They've got to try and get into the back of the group. It's 8 seconds up the road, and if we take a look back from the last rider, you can just see them in the distance here. At the moment, Swan is at 8 seconds now, 7 seconds. That express train headed by Swan, Intercity 125 in the days of an old grunty diesel. This is a super fast move by Swan. She's definitely absolutely speeding. It's more like the Japanese bullet train, to be honest, the speed that she's coming across that here, pulling Hall across. And if you're a hard rider, a fast rider, this is what it's all about. If you look at the top of the map as they come onto the cobbles here, that's an absolutely storming move by Lily. You can just see where she's come from, and they're about to make contact. I suspect we've just seen the back wheel there have Notley come through. It is really aligned out in front as behind the yellow beacon. You can just see big blob at the front, a long thin tail. And here come our two riders. They're about to make contact with the back. They're going to go straight through. Now's the time to charge on to the back of the wheels. This is where you can pick up a group coming past, take that aerodynamic aid, and let the riders jump back in again. And this is why it ramps up and it gets faster and faster. Now, looks like we've got about 18.6k to go. We're about what looks to be about 600, 700 metres off of the gantry once again. So it looks like these riders are absolutely motoring their way along at the moment, just watching Swan at the moment. And looks to me like there's one or two riders. It's Jessup, Jones, Jarvis, Notley, Lisa. Looks like they are the riders who are just being distanced. They get up in the sky here. Now they're forming another group. And this is what you need to do, guys. Look at this. Jarvis is in here. And if you follow Jarvis, you've got Jarvis in the orange, Notley in the Zwift jersey of the blue sleeves and white centre. Looks to me like Bale is a little bit further back. Lisa just stuck pushing on in that green camo kit. They've got Jones just in front, then Jessup, then Swan just moving up onto the back. Now is Swan trying to drop back. This is a dangerous time to do that because just making her way here is Swan, and Swan getting plenty of airtime because she's doing the business at the back of the group. You can see Swan dropping off the back here, trying to give people a hand. Now let's take a little bit of a look at the back as we roll in towards the gantry. Once again, our yellow beacon is holding this together. We're just about to hit the 20k mark, the half ride distance. So we're at half ride distance and our yellow beacon leaving it a little bit late. So this is going to be a good 3 watts per kilo lap, I think, at the moment. And we're going to see more riders just starting to have to find a group. But look at this, another set of PBs. And just, it's absolute, look at them. It's absolutely all over the place. I don't think I've seen so many PBs on a screen for a long, long time. And that is the power of the Donny Chaingang. That is the ramp effect as our riders move up. We just dropped back a little bit because Jessup at the moment is our leading chasing rider. You got Jessup, Swan, and looks like Philby getting a drop out and dropping back here. So we're going to just seeing a call at the front for a blob up at the front. And looks like Max, Philby F1 Max doing F0 at the moment. And it looks like she's going to be out of the ride. So we're going to drop back in with Lily Swan. So in we go with Lily. So F1 Max out of the game at the moment, and it looks like Swan are towing Jessup and Jones, or attempting to, and you can see groups behind. So looks like Jones is in this group here. So a group of 4 now. So this is Lisa on the head of the group in the green and blue camo. It's Jarvis in the orange. I think Notley is in there as well. Jones is in this group. Great stuff from these riders working together. Bale and Roberts working together as a group. They're currently 38 seconds down. 1 minute 7 behind them. Then is going to be Glenn and Cartwright. And then Baker and Collier are our red beacon group effectively at the moment. And we are just going to jump up to the pack who are in front. And it is Pratt who is sat on the back here. And these are our chasers. Behind, it looks to me like that group are just starting to distance the 2 of them. So Manning and Pratt now at 4 seconds. The gap has opened and you can see it's gone in front. Behind them, Swan is at 17 seconds now. Manning and Pratt have to make a choice here. Do they continue to push onwards really hard? It's going to be very difficult to do that and to close the gap down. They're going to be better waiting for Swan, Jessup, at least, if not the group behind, which is 4 riders to come up, because that group is opening, and it looks like it is Mamuna Adams who's on the back of this group now in the danger zone. Time to push on Mamuna. This is the time to keep that gap down. And if we take a view, just seeing Mamuna here coming alongside Knowles at the moment, they've got to keep pushing up on to the group here. Remember, it's a 3.5 watts per kilo max, but if you're in the back of the group, you will not need to do that kind of wattage. You can sit in the group and you stay in there, so push into the back of the group. Mamuna trying to push up, keep pushing, and the same for Knowles here. This is where you've got to push, guys. You've got to get yourselves in. So Laura Knowles is the rider we are riding with at the moment. 173 beats a minute, 89 revs per minute, 147. Got to keep pushing here to keep in with this group. Wendy Crossland knows this. Wendy, one of our experienced riders, sat on the back of this group, and you can see if we look behind Wendy, there are win 1s and 2s, and these guys doing a great ride. The Storm, you are not doing rubbish, that is for sure. You guys are doing a really good ride, and this is what we want to see. We want to see our riders working together. So Mia just pushing up into the group. So Mia just pushing in, and it's about getting used to riding with the group, and that is absolutely what it's all about. You can just see these riders are together. It is a big pack of riders here, and that's what we want to see from our riders, all working together, just being shepherded along by our yellow beacon, just riding in at the moment with Emma in here, and this is the long drag back up again. We can just see the red beacon is actually out on course once again. So now 23k covered, 17k still to go here, 5k laps. We've got a fastest lap every time. We've gone quicker and quicker. The question is, how long will it be before we get that signal from the yellow beacon that they are ready for it to rip up? Looks like Lawson just pushing up towards the front of the group, just making sure everybody's behaving themselves up there. The AAO team supporting the ride today, and good to see them in action here. Thank you very much, guys, for sharing it out amongst the club and amongst the team. Remember, of course, it is key to get the support of our riders. Now, what's just off the back here? Cookie sitting on the back. Come on, Cookie, get on the back there, harness some pretty gritty grunt and get into the gear. And Miss Cookie is powered by cookies, that's what, hence the name. And good to see. I noticed I didn't get any cookies sent over. If you wonder what we're talking about, get yourselves on the Facebook page for the Donny Chaingang, and you'll see exactly what's on there. And remember, guys, of course, if you want to get the exclusive discounts, if you want the links coming straight to your inbox, then what you need to do is you need to make sure that you join the DCG gang. That is the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club, and we get you the links directly to your inbox, and then that means you get all the discount codes for all these great products like Pretty Gritty Grand Tour coffee, which fuels me, keep it all going all day long as well. OTE, fantastic discounts with OTE, some great products. And I have to admit, I was on a Anytime protein bar out on a rather long mountain bike dog training walk. You work out how that was. Oh my goodness, the go is just gone. It looks like Emma wasn't waiting and hanging around. We've hit nearly the 25 kph mark, and you can just see the front here. We're just going to drop in with Connie Hayes at the moment. Connie, one of the really strong riders, sat on the front of the moment. Going to find herself being mobbed here though at the front of this group, because the go has gone, and this is where we see the group accelerating. There's going to be trouble behind, that is for sure. You're going to just take a little bit of a look, and it looks like the beacon's in danger of being distanced here as well. It might well be. These gaps are going to open early. Fletcher's just about hanging on here. Tompkins in this group. Sonia Inslee in the group. Oh, you can just see there are just starting to be gaps opening. Now, Karen Partington's group here, Dempster and Inslee, these guys really are going to have to work. These are the guys who are at the moment in the danger zone. You can see the gap is opening in front of Partington. She's going to need help because they found her from Viewer. Lucy Heseltine, Jays, don't close those gaps down. It's going to open up, and you can see it is fracturing like mad at the moment. And that is quite simply because of the pressure being put on. Our pros are now starting to open it up as we head in towards the sprint, and you can just see it really is a who's who of riders up here at the moment. So this is going to be another snowstorm of PBs in here, just in with Lawson at the moment, or trying to be. Our drone not flying today, so that is why you're not seeing us zooming about quite as much as normal. And looks to me like this group is just about holding together. You can just see Storm has got the green jersey on the way through there. 16.32, that's pretty quick, but it's going to get quicker. Natalie Creswick and Bratton being distancing. This is a great shot down that avenue. Our leading group coming through. Lawson just about holding in their Storm. Kinlock, Joe Tindley's in here, Sarah Briggs in here, Sarah Lomas in this group, Connie Hayes is in here, Edwards is in this group once again, and Edwards is a regular on the women's Chaingang, and another rider that we know is strong on the front until the riders keep on going through. Now we're in with Gardner. Gardner, again, another of our super strong riders, but getting mobbed the moment they go to the front. These riders are finding that they are in trouble because he is being pushed on here. Illy Gardner down, just dropping back in through the pack. But look who is hovering around the back of this group. Joe Tinley's sitting in there now. Let's have a little bit of a look behind this group, because this group is working well, but it's 5 seconds. So let's take a little bit of a look back. They can't afford to relax. About 5 to 6 seconds from this group to the chasing group of riders, and this is the chasing groups. This is Group 2 now, who are currently sitting about 7 seconds off the back of the main group. You just got to be a little careful watching those numbers on there. So at the moment it looks to me like Hall, Bratton, Adams, Snowden in here. Looks like Leverton's about 4 seconds back with Shull. So this is Shull in the yellow and black, Leverton in there, Shaw in this group as well. And looks like Shaw in a group of 3, chasing a group of what is going to be 6 riders who are chasing the lead pack. Joe Tinley again sat doing this sprinting job of sitting on the back. Are we going to see Joe put a nose out into the wind? Not is she smart. She's going to stay out of the way. This is the fast section coming up now. This is the steepest drop on the entire course. As they drop down, it's a whole -1% here. I know lots of the guys are watching this ready to see what they're going to do tomorrow when we open once again on the Chaingang for Business, and that's going to be an open ride again. So all of our men and women welcome on the open Chaingang. You can already see riders not quite sure where you're sticking a feather in on the downhill bit. You're about to take a left-hand turn as we drop down here now at 2%, 3% on this final drop down here. We take the left turn, it levels, and then it's a left turn back up again. That's the steepest part going uphill, and that's where you're going to need the feather flags. But at the moment, all these riders are sat in here. The pace 55 kph as they come around that corner, and this is a really elite group of riders. And at the moment, it looks to me like Kinlock is the rider on the back of this group, and the gaps have opened behind. We're going to let them get around this corner and the screens sort themselves out a little bit. You've got to be very careful with the time on the right hand side. We're just riding in with Kinlock, 177 beats a minute, 69 revs per minute, so riding smoothly at the moment. And as you can see, this group being very, very cagey. So currently 15 riders or so all together as they make the way up here, and this is where it's all about being cagey. It's all about sitting in the wheels. Ferguson in here, Miss Storm in here. Storm currently our fastest rider through the sprint. Joe Munden's in this as well, so Munden in here, Nixon's in this group, Illy Gardner in here, Grogan is in the group as well. This really is a who's who of riders as they make their way along here. Connie Hayes in the group as well. Looks like Beth Grogan riding strongly, and this really is going to be tough stuff as they make their way up here. Just going to jump in with Edwards. You can just see these riders coming in through the sights here. So our camera up on the verandas here, taking a look down into the streets down here in Richmond, as these riders really are ramping it up. Remember, we're about to hit the 30k mark very shortly. So here we go, round the corner. This group is a really select group of riders. They're being chased, but the chasing group with Hall in it now are sitting at 23 seconds. If we take a look, this is Group 2 on the road. 6 riders sitting in Group 2. This is then going to be a Group 3, and this is now a big group of 15 riders. They need to work together, though, if they're going to pull back. The group in front behind looks like Swan just on her own, and then it's going to be the group with Partington and Gilbert, and these are riders all forming their own packs out on the course, and this is exactly what we want to see from our riders out and around the course. We're going to dive back up towards the front again, and let's see what's happening. One rider who we know is going to be sat on the back of the group, taking it steady, should be Tindley, not doing too much work. Tindley's in this group, and it is rolling around very, very nicely indeed. They are gaining on the rest of the riders as they come in onto the cobbles. Once again, it's a fast moving pack, and you can just see nobody able to hold the front for very long at all. So we're going to be closing in on our red beacons. They're going to get a grandstand view as this leader group comes through. I think they're about 20 seconds behind Collier and Gang at the moment, and they're going to see them very shortly. We're just riding in with Tindley at the moment. This group working well together. Looks like Slow Mass pushing on the front of this group, but not for too long because the group is changing once again. And you can just see as soon as somebody eases, as soon as somebody takes a foot off the gas, everybody else is jumping in and around. And we are just sat on the back of this group at the moment, and we're just sat currently sitting in as these riders come through. We're riding with the beacon at the moment. That is Emma Payne sat on the back of the group. This is Emma's view as they come through, just as seen as they come in and through. The riders just being distanced there. That is going to be Beth just behind Emma. So Beth Baker just seeing the group come through along with Emma Collier, and they just will have got a nice toe off that draft as these riders push on. The leading group is still all together now. This is where they're going to be doing the maths. They've got to make sure they know exactly what they've got left to do at the moment. They're going to be in danger of being taken off the back. There's 1 or 2 riders just starting to feel the pressure here, and they've got to be careful. If you just sit on the wrong wheel, just like in real life, you're going to be distanced. But this is a super select group of riders at the moment. We're just riding in with Torrey. So Izzy Torrey in here, sat in this pack. Lawson in the group, Nixon in here as well, Tindley in here, Storm is in here, Briggs in here, Munden in this, Edwards in here, Hayes is in this group. Taylor, this really is a select group of riders. The question is, who is going to be able to rip it up at the finish? Are they going to wait for a sprint? That's a very, very risky proposition for these riders, but can anybody break away? Remember, we should be finishing what should be about 37k if the timing is going to work out correctly, and that's going to be very interesting to see whether it does or not. I think it's going to be very suspect. We'll see how we're going. So we should have about 2.5k warmed down on the run around, but that's so dependent on the run to the finish. So this group all together at the moment, looking good as they push on, just riding in with Torrey here. Nobody is giving any ground at all in this group. They're all rolling around together, and this is super, super fast at the moment. Nobody is giving up anything, and everybody wants to be right up at the front of this group. Just jumping from rider to just see who is in here, and just seeing Gardner at the moment. just pushing on here, and Gardner has put an attack on here now. Can Gardner open this up? Gardner's just gone onto the front to string it out at 8.1k. We're going to see just how fast they can push around this corner here, because this is the last lap here. Gardner pushing on, Lomas doing the chasing down. This should take us into the last lap. I think we've got about what should be about 3k left to go. That'll take us to about 35.5. I suspect the timing is going to be slightly out, but this is going to end up being the last lap. They've not got time to get around for 2 more, that is for sure. And remember, we did say it's going to be a really tricky one to call as they come in and through, but Gardner really was trying to push on there. Now you can just see the yellow beacon just putting in a power up there, just trying to stay in with this group. The front of the group, though, is being pushed on. Munden's got some high watts per kilo at the moment. There's Munden tries to keep this moving super fast on the way up this climb, and it looks like the yellow beacon has indeed gone from this leading group now. So it is Gardner, Taylor, Hayes, Edwards, Ferguson, Nixon, Tindley in here, Lawson in this group as well, Lomas in here, Briggs in here, Illy Gardner we've seen already putting in a big kick to try and break this group up, but Munden it is who has been sat doing a lot of the work, and you see just how fast these riders are losing touch at the moment. So it really is looking really wound up here. We're going to hit 34.5k here. Remember, it is going to be very, very tight indeed on the timings that are going to come in and round. It's going to be a very fast sprint for the finish. They come round the corner. They can see the gantry now. They're going to get round the turn. They're going to come in and through that line. It is going to be a very, very quick run into the finish. Who has got the speed? Who's got the sprint? Who is your money on here? We've seen Gardner go quick. Let's jump in with Joe Tindley. Tindley could be the rider who could take this out from the front. We're just up over the top of them. They're going to come around this turn here, and at the moment everybody is here. So this is it, the run to the finish. The finish will be as we hit the line this time. So here we go. This is it. It's going to be a big old sprint in. Who is going to take this? They finish at the line this time. Our yellow beacon just letting everybody know it's the finish this time. They're going to have to go from the green. Who's got the sprint and legs on them? Who is going to be in here? We're going to ride right up above our leaders at the moment, and look at the pace on Gardner at the moment. Gardner has got the pace, and it looks to me like Gardner is going to lead this out. Is she going to take this? She come to the line. Gardner leading this out. Munden's coming. Munden's pushing hard in beside, but it looks to me like it is a superb win there. Gardner comes through and takes it from Joe Munden, Joe Tinley, Sarah Briggs and Taylor, setting new PBs as they came in and through. Absolutely flying the way around there. What a ride by this group, and look at that time, 14.86. That is crazy fast, and you can just see why everybody is just letting their legs ease off a little bit. We're going to just drop back to our next riders, and it looks like our beacon just on the way in towards the line. So as we said, it was always going to be interesting seeing how the timing and the distances are worked out on this one. The first time the Donny Chaingang has been in here to the finish, and these riders all know that when they hit the line, they're going to make it in and through. Now we're going to drop back to our riders behind. This is going to be the next sprint. They're going to hit the finish this time. When they come in to the green, they're going to hit the finish. I hope our yellow beacon is typing finish this time round. It's not going to be long before they do get there. They're going to have another sprint into the finish. Let's see who is going to ride this out as they come in. It's going to be super fast on the run in here. You're seeing the power going up, and Cresswick has got a big kick on here. Is Cresswick going to take this? The big kick from Cresswick. Adams is coming at her at the moment. Cresswick gets it as she hits the line of this time. A super fast sprint there. Everybody going in, trying to take it to the finish. Look at this big kick coming here from Rourke and Inslee, kicking in hard towards that line, and it looks like Rourke just taking that from Inslee. Fletcher coming in and through, Jarvis and Tonkins. Leverton comes through, Brooks and Shaw. Big group finishing all together. Now we're dropping back once again. Partington on this run to the finish. Who is going to be in here? So everyone will finish on this lap, and then it's going to be a rollout. So the guys are kicking in to the finishing line now. This is it, the run in. Who has got the biggest kick out of the lot now? We should see Heseltine James, I think, be able to put out some big numbers. Is she going to get a time in right here? It looks to me like Partington is going to be the rider who's going to take this. Just dropping back here. Partington's going to come in and through the line. Partington takes that from Lucy Heseltine James, then Dempster, Gray, Gilbert, and then Catherine coming through now. Beth Baker and Emma Colley going to have another one. So really is fast. You can see these riders are coming in. Looks like Anna from Bellevue. Everybody sprinting in towards the line. So in they go, just coming in and through. Baker and Connie going to be out again. PB's coming in. Anna from Bellevue with a new PB. Smith with a PB on the way in through the line. Remember, these riders are all making the way out and round. We're just trying to see our next group heading towards the line is going to be this group here. Smith got a new PB on the way through. This is the group with Knowles leading out now. Crossland and Watts in here. So we've got what's in this group. Watts we know can go hard, can go very quick indeed. Just what's in the blue, Knowles in the green, in the grey and the pink is going to be Wendy Crossland. The guys sprinting for the line of this time. They will finish when they hit the line of this time. They go tick over that 35k mark, which means we can't go round to get another lap in. As we said, it was always going to be very interesting to see just how many riders have managed to make it in on the same lap. We're just in with Watts, Crossland and Knowles are going to be rolling through here. I think it's going to be Crossland who's going to take it in and through the line. So Knowles and Watts and Crosslands come through. We're just coming into the turn. This is going to be Mamuna, Adam, and then it's going to be Jessup and Manning, a group of 3 riders. We're going to try and just stay in with them. Easier said than done on the circuit at the moment. So Manning is at the moment. So just watching these riders coming in towards the line as they come up towards the line. We're just riding in. So this is the run for the finish here, and looks like Manning has got the power engaged here. Manning is on the front at 5.1 watts per kilo, 115 revs per minute. Big kick coming here as she comes in towards the line. It's going to be Manning ahead of Jessup and Adam as they come through underneath the gantry. Manning takes it from Jessup, and then Mamoona, Adam, and Manning and Jessup and Adams all putting in a quick time there. Next rider in is going to be Rebecca Pratt. So just for Emma, we've just just had a heads up from Russ. Always cracks in when the leadings are wrong. He's not wrong. It never makes our life easier when we're working this out, and we always try and make sure we get it right. We're going to be very interesting to see what we do tomorrow. Don't forget, of course, we've got the Open Chaingang. Going to have plenty of riders out on that who've been out and riding tonight. Notley's going to be our next rider, kicking in towards the line. Currently 4.3 watts per kilo. Big kick coming from Notley here as Notley pushes in towards the line. Another very experienced rider here. 4.8 watts per kilo. 4.9, really pushing on hard here. Big sprint into the line from Notley. This is going to be a good time. Going to beat the 21.52, the previous best time. Let's have a little bit of a look. Yeah, indeed, 21.5, another PB there. And now comes the next group. So here we go. Big sprint in from Edwards and Gardner, that time round from Storm, and they will have been just on the wrong side of the 40k as they've gone in and through. So really interested to see the distances here as everybody keeps on running their way in and through. So let's try and focus on some more of our riders who are out on course. Let's jump in with O'Shea, our red beacon, who is currently at 33k. We'll try and cover as many riders making their way around this circuit. So great riding by O'Shea after those take dropouts, just shadowed there by our yellow beacon, our yellow and red beacons together here on the women's ride, just with Karen Glynn here. So Karen Glynn currently at 33.7, so a little bit further for Karen to go out on a circuit. And we'll be working our way out and around these riders here. So Beth Baker and Collier out on course, going to have some company now as they make their way around the circuit. Just in with Collier at the moment, and looks like Beth Baker sitting on that wheel nicely glued to the wheel as they come in and around. Our riders out and around circuit. So a really busy time out on the circuit. First time on the circuit. Can't just keep that in for the guys. Always good to go see how they work out when we're out on the circuit. So lots of great riding out from our riders, and looks like everybody now just stretching their legs on the way around in the course. And plenty of our riders know they're going to be back for more next time around. So just looking at Wendy Cross and Wendy in and through. Watts in, Knowles is through as well. These riders just making their way up that long straight, and with riders out and around the circuit, it has been an absolutely hectic night out on the Chaingang, with our riders now doing exactly what the riders went to do, just easing their legs down on their way out and around circuit. So great to see so many riders out and riding here, and we are going to jump in with our two riders who are sat down at the back, and that is going to be Baker and Collier, who are doing a great ride at the moment at 33k. Let's see if we can jump in with our yellow beacon, in with Emma, whilst Collier's just working the way up this straight. So Emma, are you there?
I am. Can you hear me, Matt?
We've got you loud and clear. How that was very, very quick indeed.
That was good, though. I have to say, at the end, I wasn't sure if we had another lap or not. It was getting faster and faster and faster.
Well, I was doing the countdown, and we weren't 100% certain. And Russ and I actually have had some message. We weren't certain you were going to get that second lap in. It was our riders came through. They were over 35k. with when we called the sprint, and that means that with 5k lap they'd have gone over the 40, and in fact that's being reflected in the distances people are ticking in, putting in the extra lap in. They're going way over that 40k, so we could have lost riders and not got anybody going into the sprint. So very interesting. As a leader, what do you think of that circuit? It looked to be a really quick circuit, but people held together well. Is that just because it is the Women's Only Wednesdays and people are generally well behaved?
I have to say, I think the course is cracking for this, because it's it's not too short a lap and it's not too long a lap. And it really does allow you to control that pace and do that gradual wind up that we wanted. And it worked brilliantly. And as you saw, mid Donny Chaingang, we were starting to drop, and that pack was really moving, and all those PRs coming through were amazing.
Yeah, definitely. And we've seen, I know our red beacon had issues, and we do have a sweep on the women's Chaingang. Emma Collier dropping nicely in there.
Yeah, look, I can see her on my screen coming through at the moment. You know, the riders on the Chaingang are fabulous, supporting each other and bringing everybody through. Dropping back, I saw Lily Swan at one point dropping back off the back of the pack and pulling a rider back on. The team are fantastic. It's absolutely superb.
And it does take teamwork to make it happen, and we've got to say a massive thank you, because a lot of the riders on the gang who are regulars are joining the DCG gang as well, and of course that's what keeps the show on the road and keeps the women's chain gang going. Now, next time out, it's not flat, is it?
You know, I had this funny feeling you were going to ask me that, and I cannot for life of me think right at this very point in time where we're going. Remind me, Matt.
that shows you just how hard you've been riding, for the fact that you don't know. So we have 2 more left, and we did try and change what was going to happen on every single one of them by putting out different courses. And we'll just call our riders in to the line before we just share with everybody where we're going, because we're just seeing Beth Baker, who's putting an absolutely storming ride in and through to the line. Going to come through at 35k on her last lap then, with a lap warm down, doing an absolutely storming job. And Beth's done a really good ride, because she was really struggling. Look at this massive sprint here, 4.7 watts per kilo as she comes into the line. What a ride by Beth Baker here, absolutely annihilating Emma in those last few meters. But that's what we're after, isn't it?
Oh, that's it, isn't it? You know, wherever you are in the Donny, look at that go. You know, wherever you are in the Donny chain gang, find your riders with your group, enjoy it, and push through to the finish.
Definitely, and that is what it is all about. It's all about getting our riders together. So for those people who want to know where we're heading next, we do have some really good courses dreamt up. We are doing ones that aren't necessarily the easiest, but next time out we are going to the Innsbruck Ring, which is the infamous leg snap. It's one of our favourites on the open chain gang. Rolling course, and it's 288 metres, so nearly 3 times, well, more than 3 times the height ascent that we had today.
Yeah, I remember just literally before you said, I have to say I really loved the Innsbruck Ring on the open chain gang. It's actually one of my preferred courses. I do like it when it's a bit rolling. So I'm hoping the women love it too.
We will see. That's in 2 weeks' time, and then the last of this block of women's chain gangs. This is running in towards the end of March. It is on the 24th of March, and that is on RGV, which has a really top quality rollout, doesn't it? Because it's one of my favourite courses. 14k of flat to kick off with.
Exactly. What on earth do you want other than something like that to keep the pack together to start with, and then it starts to get interesting.
Interesting is one way of putting it, that is for sure. So we are going to see that in a few weeks' time. In the meantime, remember, guys, get yourself signed up to the DCG gang. Emma, thank you very much for leading this out, and I'm sure you'll be comparing notes with Russ, who I suspect is about to ring your phone in about 3 seconds' time as soon as we finish talking, because he's got to do all this tomorrow, which is going to be very entertaining. So thank you very much, Emma.
Thanks, Matt.
So we are going to say thank you very much to all of our riders. Absolutely manic out there tonight. And of course, having to call that on the fly because of those distances. And that's one of the things we use course for the first time. But that's just racing, because you can find that in real life, that the courses get shortened, that things change. And of course, that you find yourselves with it altered or halfway out and round the course. Now, as our riders continue to warm down, a quick reminder, guys, make sure you sign up to DCG Gang if you want all of the event links directly into your email inbox. They come from myself, Matt, and from Full Speed Events. We get those emails into you. Also, we've got great discounts and giveaways. We've got Ben Swift's National Champions jersey signed by Ben, going to be framed for you. We are giving that away to the members of the DCG Gang. If you've got a month's membership, you get 1 entry. If you've got 2 months, you get 2. If you've got a year, you get all 12 entries in, and then we will be pulling that from the hat. We've got great giveaways coming up. We had Pretty Gritty in February. We're going to be moving on to March. We've got OTE coming up for you with a great giveaway, as well as the discount codes that are direct to members of the DCG Gang and exclusive to them. We've also got a great giveaway from Velaskin coming up in a Velaskin feature week. We've got 2 more women's Wednesdays, as well as all of the open chain gangs, and you can watch it all here live on the Downey Cycling YouTube channel with me, Matt Payne. So from myself, from Russ, and of course from our beacons tonight, from Mary in the red beacon and our yellow beacon, Emma Payne, I hope you've enjoyed yourselves. We'll see you for the next Donny Chaingang tomorrow, and our next Women's Wednesday in 2 weeks' time. We'll see you soon.